When it comes to adding fog and atmosphere, there are two big approaches that we can use, or there are two big techniques. The first one is using the principled volume shader. If I look for principled volume, which is this node right here, and it is basically the main technique that you might want to use if you want some super realistic results. But to be honest, the only problem with the principled volume and volumes in general inside of Blender is that they render really slow. So that's why we will be using another technique, which is closer to cheating, but it will allow us to get somehow similar results, but at the same time we'll have like faster renders. Like, let me delete first of all my principled volume node. I will drag this down to have more space in the 3D viewport, and I will go Shift A, image as planes, and I will go to the resources folder, and here you will have an image called fog. Double click on it to import it, and if you click on the dot, you will basically have this plane in the middle of the scene. We will distribute those fog elements or those fog planes on the entire desert plane, and this practically will give us the illusion of fog or dust on the desert. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to Shift A, mesh plane, and make sure that the size is 200 meter. Some of you might ask, hey, why are you creating another plane? Why don't you like just create the particle system on the desert layer? But this actually will cause some problems later on, because we already have like a super dense mesh for the desert, and it will be really helpful if we just use a simple plane, like just for vertices to distribute our geometry. This will save a lot of memory. Make sure to rename it so you don't lose track of it. I will call it, for example, fog particle, and maybe let's hide the object of the desert, and we have our simple plane. I'm going to add a particle system to this plane by going to the particle tab, go to new, and just call it fog, or let's just call it dust. Double click on the particle system and hit dust. I will change the type from emitter to hair. Make sure to check advanced, and we need basically right now to change the type of the elements that are used as particles, because right now it is using just paths. So go under the render tab, and here you will have render as path. Let's change it to object, and our object is the element that we called fog. It is basically the plane. If you zoom really close, you will have little tiny planes right here. Make sure to check object rotation. So right now Blender will use the same rotation as the main fog plane. All the small planes are right now rotated the same way as the big plane, and after doing that, make sure to select your plane and go to scale, and right here you will have a slider for the scale. If you start changing that, you will basically make your planes bigger or smaller. We want somehow a result that we can see, so let's jump to the camera view, hit 0, and right here let's switch to the render view, and we have this. So let's just make them a little bit bigger, something just like this, and probably they need to be pointed to the position of the camera. So make sure to check rotation, and if you open rotation, and here you will have orientation axis, which basically will control the angle of those planes. So if I change it from orientation axis from velocity and hair to the object Z, and I start randomize phase, I will basically be able somehow to change the direction of all of those planes to a result that somehow fits my needs. And using also the phase, I can change their rotation the way I want. So I want them to be pointed to the camera, something just like this. Don't worry about those block parts right here. We will get rid of them later. But right now, let's just focus on the size and the randomization of all of those planes. I might add a little bit of randomized phase just to make more variation in the rotation of those. And also I might check the scale randomness, so I will have big ones and small ones. And here's something we will encounter, which are those black parts that are right here. They are actually caused by Blender not being able to calculate the transparency really far. So if we go to the render tab, and here you will have an option called transparent, and we have 8 bounces. This number control how far Blender can calculate the transparency of layers. So if we start dragging this number up, we will get rid of that. So let's just keep it at 40. It is pretty good number, I guess. And let's get back to our particle system. Here I might want to change the emission because I feel the number 1000. We do have actually 1000 fog plane. It is a little bit overkilled. So I think I will change this number to something like, let's start by 750 and see what we will have. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I guess I will stick to this result. And here's another another problem, which is that all of those planes are literally just white planes. We don't see any kind of fog. So let's get back to our shader, select the main fog element, and let's see the material we have. Maybe click on the dot just so you can zoom on this element really close. And let's just see what we have. We connected the alpha to the alpha and we're good to go. And we have the color into the base color. So the problem that we see all of those planes as white, it is actually probably because the color of this plane is white. That's why we're not seeing the fog elements. So let's get back to our fog particle element and go under the viewport display. Inside the viewport display, you can control whether you want to see the emitter, which is this plane. You will have an option called show emitter. If you uncheck it, Blender will basically hide the plane or the emitter of those elements. And also make sure to hide it also from the render, so later on when we render our scene, the plane won't be visible. And as you can see right now, we do have a small problem. Our fog planes are flipped, and that's actually due to the orientation axis. So the easiest way, I think, to fix this problem is if you click on the fog element and just hit down to zoom on it, and let's just click on the tilt so we only see it, we can probably hit tab, and if we rotate this plane on the y-axis 90 degree, we will be good to go. So hit R, Y, and hit 90. And we basically flip this plane. Right now, if we get back to our normal view by hitting the tab key again, we will have the result that we will expect, which is that all of those planes are oriented the way we're expecting them to be oriented. Let's hit 0 and bam. As you can see, they are rotated the way we want them to be rotated. Only one problem right now is that we can see where they ends and it doesn't look realistic. To fix this issue, we will need to stretch all of those elements a little bit. To do such thing, it is again super simple. Make sure you're selecting your fog elements. I will zoom on it, hitting the dot. So what I'm gonna do is to scale this plane on the z-axis, so it will give us the illusion like this fog is actually stretched. Again, if you can't see clearly your fog elements, just hit on the tilt key. You will jump to this local view where you can only see it. Hit S, scale it on the z-axis and make it a little bit stretch. Something like this I guess will be enough. And to get back to the normal view, hit the tilt key again. And if we go 0, yeah, that's way more like it. And that's looking actually good. Let's make our desert object visible. Probably right now it will take some time to render because we have a lot of degrees of transparency right here in this scene. So let's see. And this is the result that we are looking at right now. There is a big problem with it, which is that this fog is kind of inside the sand, and that's not realistic. That's not how sand is supposed to look like. The main reason for that is the position of those fog elements. You can move the fog particle system up, and this will basically give you the result that you want. So if I go G, grab and move it on the Z-axis, you will basically move all of this fog up. Also, you can probably play with the C to have different kind of pattern or distribution of those fog planes. So yeah, you can play with that. In my case, I would like just keep it at 2. And the final thing, the fog right now looks more like clouds because it is not color. So let's just check our fog element, and we need basically to colorize it. And the easiest way to do such thing is by adding a color ramp right here and color our main fog element. I will get back to the local view and let's go Shift A, color ramp, and add it after the color. Right here, I want to create a certain color to this element. So just click on the black and let's maybe make it brown, something like dark brown like this, probably even something like this, I guess. Hover your mouse over the color and hit Ctrl C to copy the color, and go to the white one and hit Ctrl V to paste it. And make sure to bring the brightness way up, something like this. And as you can see, probably I have to drag the saturation a little bit down, just so I get this really bright color. If we get back to our normal view by hitting the tilt key again, and yeah, as you can see, we basically added this kind of dusty look to those elements. This desert environment is basically right now finished, and in the next video we will add some camera animation to the scene, and after that I will show you how to render it based on different layers, and for the final video we will learn how to composite. So yeah, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.